The Globe Finance headlines of the CBC Evening News.
Prime Minister Stewart calls on the United States to assist the Caribbean more. Private waste handlers in Barbados upset about the new tipping fee. And in sports, the two Dwaynes involved in a one-run victory in their IPL opener.
With the compliments of Globe Finance, those are the headlines of tonight's edition of the Evening News. Next on CBC.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. This is the CBC Evening News. Prime Minister Fendo Stewart wants the United States to do more for the people of the Caribbean. This is one of the positive outcomes he is expecting from the CARICOM-US summit in Jamaica. CARICOM heads of government and President of the United States of America, Barack Obama, have discussed critical issues of interest to the two sides, including competitiveness.
The time has come for us to say exactly how we feel about some of these things. Very respectfully, of course. But I don't think that we can just continue to meet for photo opportunities when, in fact, people of the Caribbean are looking on and they expect concrete results from encounters such as that which we are going to have with the United States of America.
In an interview last night ahead of the meeting, Prime Minister Stewart noted that President Obama occupies a very special place in the affections and expectations of the people of the region. He suggests Obama should see it as part of his legacy to ensure concrete action is taken so the people of the region can feel the effects of the relationship with the United States.
If nothing else comes out of tomorrow's meeting, but a commitment on the part of the United States to sit with us for a much longer period than we are scheduled to sit tomorrow, and to talk through our challenges, not in any not in a way that puts the United States in any position of verticality in relation to the people of the Caribbean, but in a relationship based on horizontality.
Meanwhile, President Obama has announced the creation of a new fund that will benefit Barbados and its CARICOM neighbors. It will channel private investment into clean energy projects in the region. The fund is part of a program called the Caribbean Energy Security Initiative. President Obama spoke about it during a media conference in Jamaica ahead of the CARICOM-US summit.
Vice President hosted a summit on this in January. Our Caribbean Energy Security Initiative aims to help move the region toward cleaner, more affordable energy. Today we're announcing new partnerships, including a new fund to mobilize private investment in clean energy projects in the Caribbean and in Central America. And I'm confident that given the commitment of the CARICOM countries and the U.S. commitment, that this is an issue in which we can make great strides over the short term and even greater strides over the long term.
President Obama added that several other issues will also be discussed during the meeting.
We're going to have a chance to talk about the issues that have already been mentioned, making sure that we deepen our cooperation in economic growth and how we can further integrate the region. Making sure that our governments are open and transparent in upholding human rights for all citizens, combating transnational crime through our Caribbean Basin Security Initiative.
In other news now, private haulers are still up in arms about the controversial tipping fee being introduced by government for individuals and businesses taking waste to the island's landfill. One of their main concerns is how they will recoup the $25 a ton fee, which they will now have to pay to the Sanitation Services Authority. They say they will be forced to pass it on to consumers. Scores of them put questions to a panel during a meeting at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center last night. In response, project manager in the Ministry of the Environment, Ricardo Marshall, explained the increased waste now coming to the landfill made the move necessary. He also had some advice for the haulers in adapting to the new fee.
If there's an additional cost that comes on, whatever that cost is, be it an increase in the cost of fuels, be it, in this instance, a tipping fee, there has to be a way in which you work out how you charge for your service. And that is what I would recommend that you look at. I don't think that the authorities can sit and tell you how to charge your plans. But you also need to study the fact that if you are paying a tipping fee and everybody else is paying a tipping fee, then your advantage relative to a business is how you structure your business relative to those things.
Acting General Manager of the Sanitation Service Authority, Janice Jones, told the haulers the SSA had been footing the bill for them in the past, but she says this cannot continue.
We pay for all of the waste that goes over that waste scale. The 1,000 tons per day that go over, we are charged a processing fee by SBRC, and that is what we have to pay on a monthly basis. So we do in fact pay. In fact, right now, we are paying for the private haulers.
The emergency ambulance service will be looking to get to patients quicker by establishing a roving response system. Ambulance officer Andrew Brathwaite says this is one of the options they're exploring, in addition to having more decentralized ambulance stations across the island. He was speaking during the hospital's public accountability review meeting at the Grand Salle last night. Lisa Lord reports.
Mr. Brathwaite says the ambulance service wants to improve its response to calls for emergency medical assistance. He says the decentralized ambulance station at Arch Hall has helped them to get to people quicker, especially those in the north of the island. But that facility is undergoing renovations and is now out of service. Mr. Brathwaite says they're looking forward to the station becoming operational again, adding that authorities have also examined possible sites for ambulance services at 6 Roads in St. Philip and the Grantley Adams International Airport in Christchurch. He says in the meantime, they are looking at having at least one roving ambulance.
When I speak about roving, we will take our statistics to see where most of our calls are coming from, especially on the outskirts of St. Michael. And our plan is to put an ambulance there for a duration of time during each day. Now, outside of St. Michael, we have Christchurch, 52nd highest amount of calls. We have St. Philip, where we are getting a lot more calls because of the population density. And then we have St. James and St. George. Those are the main areas where we get most of our calls. And these are the areas that we will be targeting in our roving response system.
The emergency ambulance service receives about 14,000 calls annually. Some are not serious. More than half of those calls come from within the St. Michael area. Mr. Brathwaite says the service will continue to prioritize those calls to ensure that the more serious patients have access to paramedics.
There are times where a call will come in for someone who just has a hurt foot or a centipede bite. Even at times, there are people who want a ride to the hospital just to get off the ambulances and head down Fairchild Street into the bus stand.
It's no secret that the service has been plagued by a shortage of ambulances over the years. It is, however, in the process of purchasing 2 new ambulances, which will bring the current fleet to 12. 4 are being repaired, and for the first time in a long time, according to Mr. Brathwaite, 6 of the ambulances will be under 2 years old.
At this point in time, we are meeting the challenges. We are getting there. We have given ourselves up to the end of November to realize before those 2 new ambulances come that we have all 10 ambulances back on the road in good mechanical and refurbished order.
As for the calls you place to the emergency number 511, all of them are recorded to ensure that those in need get the best possible assistance. Lisa Lord, CBC News.
Lisa, thank you. The chairman of the Barbados Cane Industry Corporation has been putting forward a case to support government's continued efforts to revive the sugarcane industry. Dr. Atlee Brathwaite wants critics to know sugarcane is essential to the survival and development of agriculture as a whole, especially for non-sugar crops. Speaking to CBC News as the 2015 sugar harvest got underway this week, he said he also believes it's the only way to spark efforts to reduce the island's food import bill.
Sugar cane is a grass cover that not only produces biomass, it produces sugar also. And it keeps the topsoil and it maintains a level of productivity that ensures that we get good yields and non-sugar crops. In addition to that, it cheapens the cost of producing non-sugar crops because it keeps down the weeds and also reduces the type of insects and pests that we will normally experience if we were only producing food crops.